The Vakresh War Council had made a critical error. They assumed humans were soft, predictable, and bound by the same evolutionary limitations as every other species in the galaxy. They had catalogued human weaknesses with meticulous precision: fragile bones, thin skin, poor natural weaponry. What they failed to catalog was what humans did when you threatened their young. Kira Fen was 8 years old when the Vakresh landed on Colony 7. She had been playing in the Biodome Gardens, her small hands covered in soil, when the sirens began their awful wailing. Her parents had grabbed her, running toward the bunkers, but the plasma strikes came too fast. The world turned to fire and screaming metal. When Kira opened her eyes, she was alone in the rubble, her leg trapped beneath a fallen support beam. That's when she heard a low, guttural huffing sound that made her freeze. Through the smoke emerged something that looked like it had been designed by a committee of nightmares and then rejected for being too aggressive. Rumble was a Terran honey badger, genetically modified for the colony's pest control program. 2 feet of condensed fury wrapped in loose skin and bad attitude. The creature approached slowly, its black and white striped face tilting as it examined the trapped child. Kira had learned about honey badgers in school. She knew they could fight off lions, survive cobra venom, and had been documented breaking into military installations just to see what was inside. She also knew they had no natural fear response. "Help," she whispered, not to the animal, but to the universe itself. Rumble sniffed her once, then began digging at the rubble around her leg with powerful claws that could tear through metal. Within minutes, Kira was free. The honey badger sat back on its haunches, waiting as if it understood that the real problem hadn't been solved yet. The Vakresh ground forces were methodical. They moved through the colony in standard formation 12-soldier squads, designed to clear structures and eliminate survivors. Squad leader Threx had personally overseen 17 colony pacifications. Humans were always the same. They hid, they begged, they died. Simple. The squad entered the ruined biodome with weapons raised, their thermal scanners picking up a single human heat signature. A child, this would be quick. Kira heard them coming, their chitinous armor clicking against the debris. She was hidden behind an overturned planter, her heart hammering so hard she thought they might hear it. Rumble sat beside her, utterly still for the first time since they'd met. The honey badger's small dark eyes fixed on her face. The Vakresh spread out in perfect formation. They had done this 1,000 times. Their squad leader gestured toward Kira's hiding spot, mandibles clicking in satisfaction. That's when Kira did something that would later be analyzed by xenobiologists across 3 sectors. She looked at Rumble, met those fearless black eyes, and gave a small nod. What happened next took exactly 47 seconds. Rumble moved like violence given form. The first Vakresh didn't even see what hit him before the honey badger's jaws clamped onto the weak point where his helmet met his neck. The modified teeth, designed to crack colony pests' exoskeletons, sheared through the alien's armor like tissue paper. Blue blood sprayed across the biodome floor. The squad reacted with trained precision, bringing weapons to bear. They fired 17 plasma rounds in the first 3 seconds. Every single one missed. Honey badgers didn't dodge, they were simply never where you aimed. Rumble's loose skin allowed the creature to twist in ways that defied physics, and what the Vakresh interpreted as attack patterns was actually just aggressive chaos. The second soldier went down when Rumble climbed up his armor, using nothing but claws and spite, then proceeded to systematically destroy every vulnerable joint and sensor. The Vakresh tried to pull the creature off his comrade. That was mistake number 2. Rumble turned on him mid-assault, latching onto the soldier's weapon arm and pulling with a force that shouldn't have been possible from a 15-kilogram mammal. The arm came off. Squad leader Threx had seen enough. He armed his plasma grenade, ready to eliminate the entire sector. But honey badgers have been breaking into things for millions of years. Before Threx could throw it, Rumble had already closed the distance, climbed his armored torso, and with surgical precision, bit through the grenade's activation cord while it was still in the squad leader's hand. The explosion took out 5 more soldiers. The remaining 4 broke formation and ran. This too was a mistake. Honey badgers were built to pursue. Rumble hunted them through the ruins with the single-minded determination of a species that had once been documented, fighting its way out of a leopard's stomach. From the inside. When the last Vakresh fell, Rumble returned to Kira, covered in blue blood and looking immensely satisfied with itself. The honey badger sat down beside the child and began grooming its claws as if nothing unusual had occurred. Rescue teams found them 3 hours later. Kira was dehydrated and in shock, but alive. Rumble was asleep on her lap, snoring loudly. 12 Vacresh soldiers lay scattered across the biodome in various states of anatomical impossibility. The incident report made its way through human military command, then to the Galactic Council. The Vacresh withdrew from human space within a week. They claimed it was a tactical reallocation. But the surviving soldiers told different stories in the dark, stories of a small human child and the demon she commanded with nothing but a nod. They had other words for it in their clicking, chittering language. But the human translation was simple enough. They keep monsters as pets. What kind of species does that? The humans, for their part, simply shrugged. They had tried to warn everyone about Earth's wildlife. Nobody ever listened. Kira Fen grew up to become a xenobiologist, specializing in Earth fauna integration on colony worlds. Rumble lived to the impressive age of 23, spending his retirement years breaking into supply closets and terrorizing colony administrators, who thought locked doors meant anything. The galaxy learned an important lesson that day. Never threaten a human child. And definitely never threaten one that has made friends with something from Earth. Because Earth doesn't produce prey animals, it produces survivors. And sometimes it produces honey badgers.